All right, let's talk about the new space race. Because this one isn't about flags and footprints. This is a tale of two giants, China and India's ISRO, and they're playing two completely different games to win the future of space.
So what kicked all of this off? Well, China just did something pretty wild. They launched 11 satellites all at once from a floating platform way out in the ocean. And you've got to ask, why? Why go to all that trouble? What does this move really tell us?
Okay, so to really get our heads around that, we need to break down exactly what went down. Let's get into the what and the how of this pretty dramatic sea launch. You can really think about this mission in three main chunks. First, the rocket itself was something called a Smart Dragon 3. The cargo, it was carrying a package deal of 11 Geely 05 satellites. And maybe the coolest part, the launch pad wasn't on land. It was a mobile sea platform. Each of these pieces is a clue to China's real ambition here.
And believe me, those 11 satellites are just the opening act. The number you're looking at, 72, that's the goal for the Geely constellation. They want that many up there by the end of 2025. This isn't just some one-off experiment. It's part of a very aggressive, very fast deployment.
So a private car company is launching satellites like there's no tomorrow. Why should we care? Well, this pulls back the curtain on a much bigger story, the global race to dominate the Internet of Things. So let's be clear what we mean by Internet of Things. This isn't about getting better Wi-Fi for your phone. An IoT constellation is a network for machines. We're talking about a future where self-driving cars, automated factories, and even shipping containers are all talking to each other, instantly, all over the globe. The company that controls that network, they're sitting on a potential multi-trillion-dollar gold mine.
And this is where China's strategy gets really clever. For a car company like Geely, owning the network means they control their entire ecosystem of connected cars. Firing them up in big batches means they can get global coverage incredibly fast. And that whole sea launch thing, it's a genius way to skip the line at busy land-based launch sites. But the real prize, the most important piece of the puzzle, is strategic autonomy. They're building their own system, so they never have to rely on anyone else's network, like Starlink.
So you have this aggressive, commercially driven push from China. It's fascinating. But it raises a huge question, right? Where on earth does India, another major space power, fit into all of this? Well, India's space agency, ISRO, is playing a totally different sport. It's not about overwhelming numbers or sheer scale. It's more like a surgeon's game, all about precision. And it's driven by a completely different philosophy.
Look, here's the simplest way to think about it. If China's entire game is about massive industrial scale and speed, India's game is all about strategic science and getting it exactly right. It's quantity versus quality, playing out hundreds of miles above our heads. You see, instead of trying to blanket the sky with thousands of commercial satellites, ISRO is focused on what you might call sovereign capabilities. They're building world-class remote sensing satellites for things like national security, pioneering incredible science missions, and, crucially, building their very own navigation system, NAVIC, so they never, ever have to depend on another country's GPS. The goal isn't to saturate the market, it's to be strategically self-reliant. And hey, if you want the perfect example of this strategy in action, you don't have to look any further than the ISRO mission. This is ISRO teaming up with NASA to build one of the most powerful and advanced radar imaging satellites ever conceived. It's a mission about scientific excellence and global importance, not commercial volume.
Okay, so we've talked about the different philosophies. Now let's get down to brass tacks. Let's put them head to head and look at the hard numbers, because this is where the differences really pop.
I mean, just look at this. This one simple chart tells you almost everything you need to know. In any given year, China is launching somewhere around 65 rockets, sometimes even more. India, on the other hand, is launching around 10, maybe 15 on a busy year. It's not about one being better than the other, it just shows two totally different sets of priorities.
And this table really lays it all out, side by side. The launch numbers, 65 plus versus 5 to 15, it's just a different league. China is going all in on diversity, land, sea, and private launchers. India is sticking with its proven, reliable pads at Sriharikota. China's goal? Multiple mega-constellations. ISRO's goal? Perfecting its one strategic navigation system. It all leads back to the same idea. China is built for scale and speed. ISRO is optimized for cost efficiency and world-class science.
So, where does this all lead? What we're witnessing are two completely different roads being paved into the future of space. They look different, but they're both aiming for the same destination, becoming a dominant power in orbit.
So here's the bottom line. You've got China leveraging its incredible industrial might to try and own the commercial highways of the future. And then you have India carefully investing in scientific masterpieces to guarantee its own strategic freedom and technological prowess.
And that leaves us with the big, lingering question, the one that's going to define the next decade. Which approach is going to win? Will it be the brute force of industrial scale, building these vast commercial empires in the sky? Or will it be the surgical power of scientific precision, creating one-of-a-kind strategic assets that change the game? Now that is the real race to watch.